Hello and welcome to this narrated PowerPoint about the groundbreaking text Academically Adrift. In this PowerPoint I will summarize the work of Richard Arum and Josipa Roksa, who wrote in 2011 a groundbreaking text called Academically Adrift. In this text, Arum and Roksa articulate some of the shortcomings of the instruction that is happening in American four-year colleges and universities. The text makes a plain stated case for why colleges are not really teaching their students very much. And here we have a cartoon, and the caption is, what does he know, and how long will he know it? And it's a couple of parents taking a picture of their soon-to-be graduated, college-educated son. And the answer, according to Arum and Roksa, is not significantly more than that student knew when they first set foot on that campus. So we asked the question, what are students learning in colleges? Academically Adrift asserts that 45% of sophomores show no noticeable increase in critical thinking skills. Of course, when I read that, that was my response. That's, of course, an audio clip from the movie 300. Blasphemy. Only 45% of college sophomores are showing, or 45% of college sophomores show no noticeable increase in critical thinking skills on pre and post test measures. Fully 45% of students who are enrolled at four-year colleges and universities aren't really learning anything their first 3 semesters of college. Those results remain consistent even when following certain groups of students up to their senior year. So approximately 45% of college graduates are exiting the four-year learning environment without really adding anything to their critical thinking skills. It's also interesting to note here that Arum and Roksa interviewed university professors too, and 99% of university professors agreed with the statement that critical thinking and the teaching of critical thinking is one of the primary things that colleges are designed to do, and one of the primary skills that colleges should impart to their students. I thought this graphic was interesting. The authors, Arum and Roksa, assert that students are lazy and more interested in socialization than they are academics. And the graphic here is that 4.1 pages equals a 5-page paper, and that they studied for 15 minutes, and that 15 minutes of working earned them 2 hours of internet playtime, which they could, of course, use to drink beer and to surf the internet at their local watering hole. Another cartoon for your enjoyment. The caption here, what? But I thought the stuff was correct when I plagiarized it. News item, mistakes at Wikipedia blamed for failing grades. So that's, of course, the lamentable status of student writing at this point, that lots of students do just whole-scale plagiarize things right out of Wikipedia. The next graphic from the book summarizes some research that Arum and Roksa quote in their book, and that's Brent's 2006 study as cited in Academically Adrift. Brent interviewed and measured a lot of students, and came to the conclusion that this is how a percentage or a pie chart of their time use breaks down. And their time allocations are based on a 168-hour work week, and the percentages listed there in the pie chart are the percentages of time that they spend doing these things. And attending class was around 9%, studying was around 7%, sleeping around 24%, working, volunteering, or participating in extracurricular activities and clubs was approximately 9% of their time, and 51% of most college-aged students' time in the Brent study was spent socializing, recreating, or engaging in other non-academic sort of behaviors. So The text, Academically Adrift, refers to this as the total college experience, or the full college experience, which the students that they interviewed in the Brent study said consisted of lots of travel, lots of recreation, frequent trips off campus, and the amassing of massive amounts of student debt to finance all of it. The Brent study also includes approximately 7 hours a week of cardiovascular and other types of exercise there in socializing, recreating, and other. And a quote here from Arum and Roksa. Beyond faculty offices and tenure review procedures, however, there are students who spend far more time socializing than studying. Given the little time that they spend studying, it's no surprise that they are not learning much on average. And we have here in the graphic the old school sort of diagram of a sentence where you have the subject separated from the verb. You have a direct object there separated by a line. As a person who taught developmental English for a semester, I can assure you that very few students who are in college today know about sentence diagramming. And, to some extent that's sort of a symptom of the learning that's not happening in high schools and grammar schools. But it's not something that magically gets fixed. In fact, there are lots of college and university English departments who no longer lay claim to grammar or to improving writing. Really is their charge. They're there to help critical thinking and to help polish writing skills that should already have been put in place by either developmental studies programs or by the high schools that these students attend. Academically Adrift also blames college leaders, and they say that because of budget cuts, academic leaders are too busy building buildings, glad-handing donors, and chasing grants, and trying to keep the lights on to cultivate academic cultures that foster real student learning. And the next couple of slides I think are instructful in that regard. Another quote from the text. It is worth emphasizing again that the professorate responds to incentives established not only by the larger professional fields of scholarship, but also more specifically by higher education institutions and the administrators who oversee the colleges and universities where they are employed. Administrators have the institutional authority and responsibility to determine workloads and ensure that faculty are spending sufficient effort on undergraduate instruction. And more or less, this cuts kind of to the quick of one of Arum and Roksa's arguments, and that is that retention, promotion, and tenure guidelines are not consistent with increasing student learning. And the things that are emphasized in those RPT processes at a lot of universities are things like scholarship and research and publication and publishing in scholarly journals. And as long as teaching and effective teaching remains a relatively small and insignificant piece in the tenure puzzle, you will not see dramatic increase in gains in student learning. And some reasons why that is the case. We believe that administrators are even more distracted than faculty from a focus on undergraduate instruction due to the simple fact that their professional lives tend to reduce and limit the amount of interpersonal contact with students. After all, faculty on average spend 11 hours per week on teaching and advising activities that to some extent must remind them of the significance of student learning. So quite literally, for a lot of administrators, the students are kind of out of sight and out of mind. And they really see themselves much more as the managers of the faculty and the managers of the staff, really, than the leaders of institutions that are designed to teach students and to facilitate student learning. This next graphic is of a university in England where staff members and faculty members were out in the street protesting a decision that was made by their university president or by their chancellor, and they were, of course, kind of saying that they had no confidence in that particular leader. which makes, I think, this next quotation by Arum and Roksa also important. While academic leaders have considerable leverage and influence of their own, they are often reluctant to employ these assets for fear of arousing opposition from the faculty that could attract unfavorable publicity, worry potential donors, and even threaten their jobs. After all, success in increasing student learning is seldom rewarded, and its benefits are usually hard to demonstrate, far more so than success in lifting the SAT scores of the entering class or raising money to build new laboratories or libraries. Another argument here from the text, and that is that students are increasingly taught by underpaid part-time professors. There's a wealth of research that connects overutilization of part-time professors with poor learning outcomes. And here in the second bullet, faculty lines are increasingly not replaced in favor of professional student services employees. And the graph out here to the side makes that case, I think, pretty effectively in a visual format. In 1970, 66% of university employees were full-time professors. Only 34% were other professionals at the university. And in 2011, that number has increased to 47%. Are student services employees or other, professionals there at the university, and only 53% of the full-time employees at any given college or university are actually devoted to the business of student learning. So it's a dramatic decrease in the overall number of tenured and tenure-tracked faculty members at American colleges and universities in the intervening 40 years. In the third bullet, non-academic leaders are increasingly brought in to run academic organizations. And specifically, one of the reasons why that's bad is because their very robust compensation packages kind of take away from the overall amount of money that we would have to hire professors, tenure-track professors. CEO backgrounds arguably influence the climate of the firms that they lead. And that is also true at the university level as well. Shifts in the character of administrative leadership are associated with the phenomenon of colleges and universities today becoming much more interested in the fulfillment of non-academic services and functions, while focusing less on traditional academic instruction. The professors are also to blame. We've kind of talked about the administrators and we talked about the students. One of the things I really like about the text is that it's even-handed in blaming all three of these groups. The professors are distracted by research and publication and have constructed an informal treaty with the students that they won't push the students and the students won't complain that they're not learning anything. And here we see some feedback that an actual university professor has given on a writing assignment. And 50 out of 50 and a happy face is the type of feedback that you receive in kindergarten. It should not be the type of feedback that you receive in a 4,000 level critical thinking class or in a business ethics class. And we see here the researcher at the crossroads. Are you going to teach or are you going to do research? And he's got his lab coat on, and he's been trained in his doctoral program to believe that he's a researcher. So probably going to stand to figure that he's going to engage in research. Faculty members are the easiest to blame, as in some institutional settings they are often tempted to focus greater attention on research and professional demands than on teaching. This reality presents a concrete set of practices that can be critiqued. And here we have a professor actually engaging with students and engaged in teaching, looking at a map and teaching them something about history, looking at an archival collection. The text says that that type of teaching is not something that is incentivized in his current pay structure, incentivized in his current work assignment. So now that we're done blaming all three of those groups and participating in a little blame storming, let's look at some possible solutions. Number one, change academic culture to value teaching. Culture is composed of how we do things around here, but culture is also composed of artifacts, documents, awards, and tenure decisions. When we get serious about rewarding good teaching, when we tie good teaching to tenure decisions, when we make good teaching the central focus of our artifacts and documents, we will have arrived at a solution to this problem. That's going to require academic leadership, and we can begin to de-emphasize research and doctoral student training in favor of more instruction about teaching. We can provide robust training in pedagogy and andragogy to faculty members. We can incentivize that faculty teaching and training, and we can connect training to faculty rewards and to perks. All of those are solutions that are put forth by Arum and Roksa in Academically Adrift. And if we want to avoid kind of responding to the challenge that they pose in their text in that way, and make sure that this isn't the diploma that we offer, then it's probably going to be a good idea for us to engage in some of those solutions. Thank you for listening. I hope that you learned something.